Continuing to talk about some of the issues that can come as the snow eventually melts away and we have frost in the attic and snow on the roof and those kind of things that we've been battling all winter. But now Chad Lyer is joining me from Aero Service Team along with Brock New. We'll get to Brock here in just a second. But Chad, as we transition slowly into springtime weather, there are some issues that people are going to find in their attics because of what we've had all winter long.
Yeah, I think this has been one of the, without question, longest winter cycles we've ever had. And I brought Brock on today to go over some things in a little bit because we're anticipating now that things are warming up, the snow's almost melted, that you're going to start looking at your ceiling and be, boy, I wonder what that is, or is that new?
Yeah.
And talk about some of those interior things, from those ice dams, from the frost that built up, the ventilation issues that have occurred over the last, I don't know, how long has it been this winter? Longer than I would want to remember.
It started snowing in November and it never went away. So we've had it all, since we were still in fall, and now that spring has come and gone, the first day of spring, we're still dealing with it.
Yeah, and I guess, Brock I brought him on, he's kind of the first on site for these type of things where, if there's potential water issues, he's got meters and different cameras where they can go out and check and see if things are wet, if there's damage, if there's health concerns, certain things, how things need to be repaired or corrected.
All right, let's turn our attention to Brock. And Brock, you are the first person, like Chad said, that gets out here and takes a look at the damage. How common is an attic with frost or a leaking roof this time of year?
This time of year, with the weather we've been having, it is fairly common. Driving around the city of Bismarck, you will see ice hanging off roofs. You will see buildup in gutters. You will also see areas where there's houses that don't have snow on it. You'll see that there will be frost spots. You'll see where there'll be dry spots. You'll see, where there'll be stuff like that. And a lot of those things are common signs for either potentially having issues with frost in attic or ice dams that are pushing back into your house.
Okay. We're going to get to problem solving here in a bit, but what are some things that people that don't have that problem, what have they done correctly that maybe some of the other people, some of us haven't done correctly, that end up with that situation?
Yeah, so some of the things that are easily monitored for, like frost in attics and stuff like that, is monitoring your humidity in your house.
Okay.
Having a humidistat that will tell you your humidity ranges inside your house will alleviate a lot of those issues from arising into your attic space and causing frost on the decking.
I would imagine too much humidity in the house is going to be a problem.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And there's some telltale signs. Moisture in windows is a real big one, especially when it gets cold. You'll have some people that will actually have frost building up in the corners of rooms where there is, basically the wind's hitting it, or it's really cold a lot of times.
Does that mean there's a leak somehow coming through? Or
no,
what does that mean?
Just sometimes what happens is during the framing process, there's a little spot where there's wood and it doesn't have any insulation, and then that humidity and temperature freezes there and will cause a frost patch.
Okay.
So.
You get a phone call. Someone has a problem. What is it that they're seeing? What is the first telltale sign that there's a problem in the attic?
Yep. A lot of times what they're going to see is they'll actually see, and what we'll get calls on the most is dripping out of light fixtures.
Okay. Okay, and what causes that? Why does it go to the light fixture?
Path of least resistance. So that's going to be a spot where there's a void in it, or you'll actually see tape lines. People have tape lines start dropping because it's an area where you're going to have a void in the drywall, so that moisture is going to collect there and it will start dropping through.
Okay, if a person sees that in their home, I know it has happened to me. It happened to me one time in a previous year, and it's easy to freak out and go, "Oh no!"
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's the worst thing in the world. These are situations that can be corrected.
Absolutely. So some of the stuff that's fairly easy to correct it is going up, removing insulation. We have a couple tools that we'll use to perforate the drywall, and we'll set equipment down from the bottom side and push the humidity and the moisture out through the top.
How important is it to have proper working and the proper type attic fan?
Yep. So a lot of the attic fan will pull that humidity out of your attic space. So, having the proper ventilation with pulling in from your eaves through your soffit vents and coming out through the top will allow that moisture and everything to go out through your roof. Now there's a few things that will help with that. Obviously having a ridge vent,
Okay.
which is a form of ventilation.
That runs the entire ridge of the
That-
house.
Yep. A lot of people have turtle vents. There's what we call whirlybirds. They're the ones that you'll see on top of the house that spin.
Yep.
And then there is the electric fans on the roof that will be either regulated with temperature gauges or humidity, and that will kick on when that stuff gets too warm or the humidity gets too high.
Okay.
So,
I know this guy, we've talked to Chad many times. The electric one, it works well when it's working, but you said the danger there is the electric motor goes out or you lose power or something like that, and that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, we put a lot of electric fans in this house. For instance, I believe we didn't do it, but it has one on it from when they reshingled because we had some frost issues in this house years back, and he has had no issues. But it's just how often you go check your fan
Yeah.
belt on your fan in the attic,
Right, that's a good point.
and so or the motor goes out completely,
Right.
and then you have nothing.
Right. All right, Brock, what are some things, we want to make sure that people know that, remain calm about this.
Yep.
It's something that you guys can work with and can fix so that the problem is taken care of. But what are some things that, as we wrap it up here, that you want to leave people with? Because this can be a scary situation for a homeowner.
yep, absolutely. So the biggest thing with these are it's easily fixable.
Okay.
The damage inside is only temporary. It obviously can be fixed. It can be taken care of for you. Some of the things that will help with making sure that you don't have problems in the future would be the maintenance things that we've talked about. Clearing snow, making sure that you're looking at your humidity, temperature in your house. One big thing with that, and a lot of people don't realize the April air, if they have one on their furnace, to make sure you monitor that when
Right.
temperatures get cooler and
Yeah.
warmer, because that will also help with that situation.
That makes a lot of sense because you do come into certain homes and there is water literally running down the inside of the windows, and that's going to lead to a problem not only for the attic, but I suppose it's not good for any kind of woodwork or anything like that in the house.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
all right. Chad and Brock, we thank you so much. It's an issue that if you do have, you want to get a hold of these guys because they're professionals and they know how to handle it. Chad, tell us how we can get a hold of Aero Service Team.
Well, you can go to our website, aeroserviceteam.com. You can call us at 223-9249. You can visit us in Bismarck at 2925 East Broadway. And we are also on the east end of Dickinson and our location there. So if you have any questions, you can get a hold of us. And one other thing I'd like to add is if you have issues you're not sure of and you don't know what to do, don't be afraid to call. You can even text us some pictures and we can maybe help you out if you're intimidated by if this is worth the bother.
Okay, and that's important too.
Yep.
Take pictures in case,
Correct.
so that you've got a little
Yep.
visual evidence of what the situation is.
Correct.
Brock New, Chad Lyer from Aero Service Team, we thank you gentlemen both. We're going to take a break. We're back. We've got more coming up on North Dakota.